Hi everyone, thanks for checking out another Eagle Eye video. This is my first time doing a live stream. I wanted to check out what I can do with live streaming, and I have a video concept in my mind that I want to share with you guys. Um, this might be useful for you guys because it's vacation time. We're still in this COVID-19 situation. Um, it's not very convenient to sit in an airplane with other people. Um, Maybe you live in Europe, maybe you live in the United States, maybe you live somewhere else. Um, if you have a couple of friends and you just need a car for just a couple of months, then please watch this show. It ties into the buying reviews that I'm making, but this is more of a freestyle show. That's why it's also live streaming. So there's no edits, there's no nothing. It's just me talking about cars, and I hope you guys like this. Since it's a live stream, I hope you drop some comments. I will read them later. See what you guys think. If there's any suggestions, also suggestions for me about car buying reviews I can make in the future. Without further ado, let's just start. I got a couple of cars that I want to show you with you guys, and the guidelines are basically a vacation car, so a car that you have for a couple of months, and your budget is like 5,000 euros. So what can you buy with 5,000 euros? And that should just, take you just a couple of thousand kilometers in a couple of months. And after that, you'll see what you do. You either sell it or do something else with it. Um, First car that I have in mind is a Peugeot, which is a French car. It's from the 90s, so it's quite reliable. They have some petrol engines and some diesel engines, but this is the first car I want to recommend. So I go to a very popular Dutch website. This is basically a search engine that searches on all the websites out there that have cars for sale. So this is basically a portal website, and you can find a lot. We're looking for the 406 from the 90s. So just for this, yeah, we can go for diesels, of course. If you think, just for the summer, I will just run it, and I'm gonna do lots of miles. You can check a diesel. The French diesels are quite good, but for the sake of this one, we're petrol heads. Let's go and check gasoline. So we'll do that, and a price, a maximum of 5k. So we have 40 options. Let's see if we can find a V6 or something. Okay, this is the Coupe, so it's better looking, but it's not very convenient when you want to go with a few friends. Here, just for 1,000 euros, 1999, just over 200,000 kilometers on it. So 1,000 euros. Let's see what you can get from 1,000 euros. Let's see if we can extend this. Yes, a little bit. So it's a very basic car, basically. It's really from the 90s. 1.8 16 valve, first owner car. Let's see what you get for 1,000 euros. So it's basically a four-seater with a trunk. I don't know. This is usually a bad sign for me. I don't know. This is a hitch or something. What you call it in American? It's usually a sign that they heavy items were carried, and yeah, it tells you something about the previous owner as well without going into too much detail. You do whatever you want, but I don't want to have a car that has this attached. So let's just continue. Just a very basic car. Okay, 1,000 euros. Let's see how it looks on the inside. It's okay. It's still kind of clean. And these cars are quite comfortable. The diesel engines, French diesel engines, are quite good, quite reliable. The gasoline engines, the petrol engines, it has an air conditioning unit in it. Okay, more than 200,000 kilometers driven, but that's fine if you're gonna use it for a couple of months. Let's go back. So what we have here? It's a 1.8 gasoline. What else can we have? Specs. 4-cylinder engine, 5 seats in the car. Okay, it doesn't have Apicano more, which means like you have to test the car on like 15 points before you can access the public roads again here in the Netherlands. So at the moment it's not legal to drive it without that test. So they might find some points and you might be in trouble, but you know, you can work it out for 1,000 euros. What else? I want to know what the so it has 70-liter tank. Euro 2 emissions. It has 110 horsepower and 155 newton meters of torque. Can reach up to 194 kilometers. I'm sure it doesn't do it no more, but I'm sure you can drive 150, 160 with this, cruising down to the south. So, but this is the first one we find. Let's see if we find something nicer. Here we have a 2-liter. Let's see if we can find a V6 or something like that. Okay, this is the Coupe. Peugeot. This is, I think, the station even. Let's see. Yes, this is the station. So, this one is even cheaper, right? Yes. Driven a little bit more. This is from 2000. Yeah, these are boring cars, but just for a couple of months it's fine. Engine wise, these are not great, but yeah, you see this car already had a tough life, you know, it had a tough life. But the technology under the hood is quite simple, and if you do know a little bit how to do repairs yourself, you can get it to work, definitely. Okay, this is worn out a little bit more, but you know, you give it a good clean, and again, when you drive to the south of France or to Italy, it's fine. See if you find something else, otherwise we'll move on. You get the idea. It's all cheap. You see, you're not even reaching the 5K. This is almost 4K, so why? Because it only has 60,000 kilometers driven. Probably the first owner. Is this a special edition LPG, which is liquid petroleum gas. So, okay, but this doesn't really make a lot of sense. 97, only driven, not even 60,000 kilometers, and an LPG tank in it. So for me, there's some alarm bells here, but it does look good on the first sight. But Peugeot has many more vehicles. Another one I want to share with you guys is the 807. Let's search for that one. If you want to go for more of a MPV style, we have the 807 here. Excuse me. So here, for another 1,000 euros, you have 6 persons, ladders, navigation and everything. Well, navigation is also from the 90s. Which year is this one? Okay, this is 2005, so a couple of years younger. A 6-seat MPV from Peugeot, 1,000 euros. Leather, yeah. It's not my type of car, but I can totally understand that you can drive with this with a couple of friends to France or to Italy, or you know, wherever you want to go just for the summer. See all the space that you have. It has navigation. It's from 2005. When you look at it now, it's like it's ancient. Look at it. Look at it. Okay, let's go to the more funny stuff. You know that this channel is all about Mercedes-Benz at the moment. We do a lot of buying reviews on Mercedes-Benz. I also write articles on them, you know, so I just reviewed the S-Class a couple of days ago. So I also write about them, and then I make a video and I include it here. So you can either read or you listen to the audio, basically. But we're all about Mercedes-Benz because I like the brand, and they have also quite a lot of value for the money you're spending. So let's go to Mercedes-Benz. In this particular case, we're going to go for an E-Class which is basically a taxi here in Europe, which means, yeah, it can do lots of miles in great comfort. Let's see what 5,000 euros buys us in E-Class. So this is really the W210 out of my mind, like the E-Class from the late 90s, early 2000s. Let's see. Let's go for a nice one. So the 240 is probably a V6 from 2003. 253k on the clock. And it's a V6, I think. It's a young timer, indeed. Let's inspect it a little bit more. So 2.5 liters, 6-cylinder. What else? Emissions. 177 horsepower. And 5 people can sit in it. Yeah, it's not a super sophisticated car, but it's a 6-cylinder indeed, and these cars are just built to eat up the miles. 2.5 liter V6, 177 horsepower. That means it's quite reliable. You know, this engine is not stressed. And let's see what it. Yeah, this is already a way different car compared to the Peugeot. You know, but this is of course a little bit more expensive, but not even 5k. 2003, which is a long time ago. I get that, but you got an automatic gearbox. You got lots of electronical gadgets here. Navigation probably. This generation E-Class also not the most reliable. But this particular engine, like the 2.5 liter 6-cylinder, 177 horsepower, this one has driven 250,000 kilometers. I'm sure this can last longer than your Somber. And you have a nice car. I think this is one of the most beautiful E-Classes you can buy. But let's move on. What else you can buy? E-Class. So this is the older model. This one has a little bit more kilometers and it's older, 1 year older. So that means that this is one of the last years that they built this generation. And with this generation, I mean the W210. Here I see the rust already a little bit. And this one is somebody was very friendly and just decided that this wasn't aerodynamic enough. Let's go. And it's an old Merc. You know, I personally like the styling. I really do. But I can understand if you're not. If you're a little bit younger, like than me, then you might not like this. But let's check the interior. Green Mercedes. If this would have a beige interior, that would be nice. Oh, I saw a pretty horrible exhaust. Let's check. Ooh, that looks bad. That's so not standard. But anyway, yes, let's go back. Yeah, classic Mercedes. So when it first came out, this was all 90s, and this is really early 2000s looks of Mercedes. Again, when you buy the 6-cylinders, they're quite bulletproof. They're still good to drive. Most of them have automatic gearboxes. Again, like what I always say also in the buyer's reviews, what's very important for these type of cars is maintenance. Make sure that the previous owner went to the garage on time, did oil changes, flushes the gearbox from time to time. And also these Mercedes are cheap for a good reason, not only because they're old, but also because they rust. They rust on every panel that you can imagine. If you check up on rust and you're there on time, and you handle the chassis and everything with special equipment, yeah, then you can beat it. But eventually, all Mercedes will rust. There's no other way. So let's check a little bit further. This looking okay. It's not even 5k. Let's check a little bit further. There's not too much wear and tear. There's just a little bit wear and tear on the steering wheel here, but can you imagine? And I don't know if the odometer, whatever, this one, they say it says 250,000 driven, but if it's 350,000, you won't really see the difference. These cars are really still from an era where, it's still a quality product. The only thing is the paint job on the outside and the rust protection weren't up to Mercedes standards in the early 2000s. That's always what I say, people, because I'm also the type of people who've been looking for a Mercedes, but I just can't stand the fact that every once in a while you have to check for rust, because if you don't do nothing about it, it will just rust away on your driveway, and that's not really what you expect from a Mercedes-Benz. And that will probably cost a lot of money just to keep this car going. But again, this is a budget vacation car, and this will probably serve you for many more months, but I'm just giving you an idea. I like this. This is looking good. I'll take a sip for you guys. So, yeah, you see classic stuff, air conditioning, heaters, maybe even heated seats. I'm not sure if that was standard in those days. I don't think so. And here a very basic TV screen, maybe even navigation in there. But you don't want to do the software updates. They're very expensive. You have an Android phone for 200 euros and you can cache Google Maps on it. You're golden. You're just golden. It's better than this. This is very old technology. It's it's 20 years old now. So this is that. Let's go a little bit further. What else can we buy? Ooh, maybe one of the best Mercedes out there, but this is from the 80s. So this is also a 6-cylinder. Let's just check it out. This is the W124. Okay, so for almost 4K, it's from 87, so it's now 34 years old, which is old. It's old, but old and gold. This is really from the era that Mercedes made great cars. So let's just check it out. Yeah, it's just a regular old gray Mercedes, very inspiring color. Again, these cars are from an era where Mercedes was just simple, an engineered car to perfection. Not too much electronics, just mechanic stuff, easy to fix, easy to do maintenance on it yourself, just from a different era. But this is a car from the 80s. I believe the W124 came out in the 1980s, the early 1980s, I think 82 out of the top of my head. So it was already developed in the late 70s, basically. So, yeah. Is it very comfortable? I'm sure it will do 140, 150 on the Autobahn, no problem. But maybe you want a little bit more comfort. Maybe you want to keep it. This is a boring car, definitely. But if it's in a different shape and it has different rims, yeah, I would look at it. 4K. Let's go into the engine. What kind of engine is this? This is almost a 2.6. Automatic. What else we got? I want specs. So EClass, sedan, a 5-speed automatic. I want engine details. Okay, this is 6-cylinder with 166 horsepower. So this car, again, also this engine, I should say the engine, is built for longevity. 2.6, 6 in line probably, 166 horsepower. Nah. Anyway, let's go further. What else can we find? What caught my eye? This is like an event, like a wagon. In Europe, we love them. Maybe not as much as you guys from the United States if you tune in. 5K, 2003, almost 280,000 kilometers. Also E240. This is nice. This is a very comfortable cruiser, lots of space. Uh, it doesn't look too bad actually. But what are you buying? You know, what are you buying? What's important on a car like this? Like, I could understand if I don't have a lot of money, and that sounds bad when you buy a Mercedes. There's nothing more expensive than a cheap Mercedes. But what's important? Know where the rust is and do some research on the engine. Like, what's needed? What's needed at 100,000 kilometers? What's needed at 150,000 kilometers? And I see they have maintenance here. No, not maintenance. This one here, the bills of all the work that's been done on the car, very important. You know, we now in a day and age that you can search a lot of information online, and just check for the bills, see what has been done at the first service, the second and the third, and if all the intervals for the oil has been done, if the gearbox have been flushed. And again, why are these cars so cheap? Probably because for this amount of money, maybe you still need to invest the same. So for 10,000 euros, you drive a 2003 Mercedes-Benz with a six-cylinder that will still serve you for many years. Again, the engine, they're bulletproof as long as you do the maintenance. And for the rest, yeah, it's an old car and they will rust. So there's a reason why they are cheap. But if you do your research, you can still get a good bargain. Just don't go for the high performance cars that are now potentially 15 to 20 years old. Don't go for the AMG models. Just pick yourself a 6 in line and you're gonna be happy. So this is the E-Class. Of course, what else we got? We got the C-Class. One of my favorite cars, the C-Class, the W203. The W203. Here, not even 5K. This is probably the entry level, the 180 with the compressor, elegance. Let's see. So this is an original Dutch car, and this has a complete history, which should give you some confidence. 2002, so it's almost 20 years old. Still remember when they came out. So this looks like it's a 5 or a 6 speed, so it's a manual. It's still got this nice thing for the Nokias back then. Yeah, you can still rock it, just pretend you're in the 90s. Nah, just with a compressor, which is a nice. I'm just curious. It's probably 1.8 with a compressor. Maybe it's a little bit more peppy. It has dual exhausts here. Yeah, just a standard E-Class. Again, it's probably been carrying caravans or buckets of cement or whatever you don't want. So I don't know. I don't know if it's great, but it looks good on the surface. They'll probably give it a good wash. I want to check the seats a little bit. Oh, this is a 6-speed. Okay. Cruise control. Yeah, typical normal. Okay, not much kilometers on it actually. And it looks like it's been Wensink. The oil has been changed. Looks like it's indeed a complete service history, which is very important. But here, oh, let's go back. What did I see? No, I saw something. Just a second. Here, he went to a Honda garage. Yeah, maybe because he only driven 2000. Oh, here, he didn't drive nothing that year. What? Okay, here. Between 2012 and 2020, he barely. Nah, this is not possible. So this is not. I don't know what happened to this car. This is very vague. And here's 2014 again. Anyway, I don't know why you go from 12 to 14 to 20. But they claim that the complete history is available for this car. It looks good. It doesn't look bad. See if we find more pictures of the interior. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look scratched up. Of course, it's a little bit old, but these cars are now almost 20 years old, you know? Other than that, it looks okay. I don't see looking good. Almost 5K. Now let's see what else we can find. This is even older. Is this 200 with an airco? Okay, this one is either sold or it's already rotten away. Let's see. Find something special. 4MATIC at 320. So hopefully this is a 3-liter inline 6. This looking nice. Not even 4,000 euro, but it's driven 300,000 kilometers. So yeah, that's a little bit more. But on the surface, this looks like the type of Merc you want. It has a weird license plate, so 4MATIC, you don't see those that often. So it's a 4-wheel drive. I'm sorry, just messing around with the mouse. It's just not the way I want it. Just a second. We go back. Yes. Yeah, not bad. Looks quite decent. Bose surround system. Looks like this rim is missing something. Okay, I want to know about the engine. So it's a 3.2 from June 2004. APK. Okay, it's a couple of months, so it's probably been standing for a while. Okay, specs. CClass. 300,000 driven. Okay. What we want to know. Okay, it has 218 horsepower and 310 Newton meters of torque. That's nice. And it's a 6-cylinder. It's probably a 6 inline. Those units are great, but this car has 300,000 kilometers. Again, important if all the service has been done to the car or not. How is the rust? How well it has been protected from rust? All these things are very important to check out and to consider. So this is my suggestion for the Mercedes. I can also go for a cheap S-Class, but I wouldn't do that to you guys. You know, an E-Class is the bread and butter of Mercedes. A C-Class is a little bit smaller. Maybe you go with less people or you like the car better. This is really to give you an impression of what's out there. Most of the people on my channel, they are Mercedes fans, and I would like to hear in the comments if I need to make one special show about Mercedes in particular. That's fine, I can do that. But to keep everybody happy, I have to check BMW as well. You know, there's just Mercedes people and there are BMW people, so we have to go to BMW as well. Let's do this. And what we are gonna buy, we're gonna check a 3 Series for 5K. Let's see what that buys us. A 2001 E46, the most beautiful 3 Series out there, in my opinion. 168,000 kilometers, automatic gearbox. Okay. On the eye, it looks fine, but it's 20 years old. My God, and it's a 318. I think the 316 was the entry level. So this one is a little bit higher up, but there's an automatic gearbox indeed. Now, overall, it looks okay. The BMW is more for dynamic steering and a little bit more fun in the corners. but I believe the Mercedes is the better pick for longer motorway journeys. I'm not an expert on the driving capabilities of these cars because I never driven them. But what I know from my own research and all the years that I've been checking cars, BMW is really more on the sportive side. Mercedes is more on the comfortable side. And if you're going to be doing long motorway journeys, I think Mercedes will suit you better. But it also depends if you only want a budget car for the vacation or you just want to keep it. 160,000. 160. Let's see what it has. Oh, it's already sold. It's a 4-cylinder. Nah, before this whole world will turn electric, we're gonna have to drive a 6-cylinder. So for me, then go for a 325 or something with a 2.5 liter straight six from BMW. Those are the ones. Here we have one. I wouldn't go for a 4-cylinder Beamer. I wouldn't do that. Show me. Okay, this is a crappy website. I'm sorry. I just want to see what it has. What is the 325i? Yes, this is 2.5 6-cylinder. And how much horsepower this one has? Euro 3. Oh, come on, let me know. Oh, that's nice. 192. That's all. It's almost 200 horsepower. Yeah, that's a big difference, than the 4-cylinder. But again, if you're gonna do lots of miles, then go for the more frugal ones. But the inline 6-cylinders from BMW, that's basically why you buy a Beamer, right? An inline 6 from BMW. They have nice sounds and nice performance. This one, 238,000 kilometers. 2002, almost 20 years old. Yeah. What can I say? This is even older. I wouldn't go for this. This is the E63. You don't see them no more on our roads. They are really getting old. This is really screaming like I want to, but I don't have any money. Nah, with these Alpina style rims on it. And what is it? A 318? Nah. It's fine. I saw enough. I'm not that type of person. If you are, all good with you, brother. It's all good. Let's see. So 3 Series, 2002, also 300,000. This is also a 6-cylinder. Where is it now? Is it sold? I go back. Maybe it's sold, maybe not, but this is not even 4K and it's a 330i. So it's probably even over 200 horsepower, an executive, automatic, xenon headlights, everything on it for 4K. I really wish I can show you some pictures, maybe a different side. Just a second. Yeah, here it is. So you have a little bit more room. 2002, so 1 year newer than the previous one. Automatic. Steering wheel. Very early navigation stuff on it. If they have, the service manual here, that's great. But I want to know what the. So this is a 3-liter, not a 2.5, a 3-liter. I need to go to specs. When do I learn? Specs. 6-cylinder. So 232 horsepower. Yeah. That's good. Then you can play a little bit on the Autobahn, But you might get addicted to it and you might want to keep it and it will ruin your bank account. Who knows? You willing to take that bet? Anyway, this is a 3 Series. I also want to check real quickly into the 5 Series. If you need a little bit more space, go for the 5 Series then. But yeah, just an old E39 BMW. The most beautiful 5 Series ever produced. It's just a timeless beauty. You know, I'm not really a BMW person, but I've been looking at this car as well. The thing is, they're just old. They're just old, and yeah, you know, things will break just because they're old. And if you keep that in the back of your mind, you will probably love this car. If you wanna, you know, replace all the original parts with original BMW parts, yeah, it will be an expensive hobby. If you can do some of the things yourself, you will reduce costs. But again, this is actually the last generation 5 Series before lots of CPUs, ECUs, electronical systems took over. This is the last of an era where a car was in the heart mechanical, you know, and they're not that complex. Because this one is what, 2002? No, this is 98 even. Can you imagine that how long that is? But these were one of the best cars in the late 90s that you could buy. But these being mechanical, of course, things will break, but the electronics on these cars, what am I saying? They're not great, but it's not because of the electronics that this car will let you stop on the side of the road. It's probably something else, neglect, or you know, just the age of the car. But if you have this car, you buy this car, and you really think I want to keep this for a number of years, also have it inspected by a BMW dealer or a garage that's that can give you an advice about the state of the car, a real honest advice. You know, that's very important with these cars. You see the LCD screen is that's also a common thing in these cars. They just fade away, but 98, what can you expect? Enough of Mercedes, BMW. Let's take one more sip, and then we're gonna do something special. I don't know where the viewers and listeners are coming from, if they're from the States, if they're from Europe. Again, this is my first time doing something live like this. I have my channel now for since 2008, so it's a long time. I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers. That's just also the reason why I decided to do a live show right now, because I want to see. I might potentially broadcast this to 10,000 people. I want to see what the reactions are, and if they say like, please stop with it, or you like it, continue, because I can talk about cars the whole evening. And if you're like, great, keep on doing that, I'm with you. If you say just stick to one simple topic and don't make these videos too long, great. But I'm just checking, you know, what's the need out there and what people are checking for, and also try to engage with the audience a little bit more. So I'm gonna take a sip, and then I have something special for you. How about another French brand? I'm not sure if this car has ever been released in the United States. I'm looking for the C6 even, but I don't see it. Let's start with the C5 then, for 5K. So, yeah, okay, styling and prestige and stuff like this. It's called prestige. Okay, that's funny. Let's start with this one. So what is this? This is a 2005 2-liter 16-valve Citroen C5 with 140 horsepower, coming from a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. Yeah. Something else than the Germans, let me put it like that. It's just different approach. And the French cars are pretty comfortable. They are comfortable. When you want a cheap diesel, that will serve you for many, many kilometers. Go for a French car. They have lots of experience, and you don't pay the same ridiculous prices as the Germans. The German cars just have a certain road presence. They make you feel a certain way. When you close the door, it feels like a quality product. With the French, it's different. It's not that they're bad cars, but it's with cars, it's a lot about emotions, So there are differences there, but this might be a nice alternative. Under 5K, you buy this, and this looks nice. It's something else. Let's see the interior. Suede. You see, the French just do different. It's all about style and taste. It's not my style and taste, but that's for everybody to decide. Here you have a SIM card, you have a SOS button, everything. 140 horsepower, that's what I said. It's different. And how much has been driven? 135,000 kilometers, which is not much. Let me tell you that. It's not much. Almost 4.5. I think you can take it home for 4K. They'd be happy to let it go. The C5. I will not go too much in. I don't have much to talk about these cars. It's not like I disrespect them or whatever. It's just not my type of stuff. But I just wanted to show you guys. And I thought, why don't we can have a C6 here? Or is that the C8 I'm confused with? Let's see. I think that's a C8. No. No, this is... Why can't I select the C6 here? C6. No results. What I was actually looking for is this one. This one. I don't know why I can't find it. But these are very rare. Okay, this is Auto Scout. Let's check. It's sold. Okay, this is above budget. 2006, 3-liter V6. So this is the top model basically. This is something real special. From the movie Scarface, they had this car where Al Pacino was chasing the important politician, and that was basically also a Citroen. But this is then from the 2000s. One of the last attempts of the French people at Citroen to make an executive car and compete with the Germans. And after that, they gave up because almost all the Citroens were only sold in France. And the rest thought, let me just buy an entry-level E-Class and I'm still looking good, Again, this is a 3-liter V6, 211 horsepower in the top model. What else you need to know? 2006, Euro 4. Yeah, too bad I can't find it. Let's go back to this website. Now something that's also a little bit more close to my heart. Volvo. The Volvo S80. S80. 5K. Let's see what you got for me. I'm looking at myself here on the screen to see if everything is going well. It certainly appears so. It's getting dark here. What time we got? How long I've been streaming? Just a second. I can't really see. Okay, that's fine. So the S80 with the beautiful 5-cylinder, the 2.4. This is the first generation for €1,000. If you talk about reliable engines, the Volvo engines, they can do quite a lot. If you can get past this rather boring looking exterior, I would go for the facelift, but we're talking budget cars. You can buy this third. Fill it up with gasoline. You probably need to go to the gas station 2 or 3 times, but then you're in the south of Europe. You have a 5-cylinder. This one probably has 170 horsepower. It's old. It's 99, I believe. I will check. But this means it's probably, you know what, this is the first generation S80. Almost 300,000 kilometers. It's not a showstopper for a Volvo. Not at all. €1,000. Yeah, you see, it's there is wear and tear here. Excuse me. This is a manual. I'm not sure. It looks like it. Not too bad for €1,000, but it's not the type of car. Yeah, you can fall in love with this because of the comfort and the 5-cylinder sound. So let's just do a little bit of research. So 99, 1 liter on 14 kilometers on the highway. That's what it claims. Almost 2.5 liters, a 5-cylinder. I want to know the power output of the engine. Okay, this is the 140 horsepower version. So this is basically, this engine comes in 140 or 170 horsepower, and these are the non-turbo 5 cylinders. When you have a T5, then the you have a T5, which is the 5-cylinder with a turbo. It's 220 horsepower, and when you have the T6, you have the 6-cylinder. And for the second generation, they also had a V8 produced by Yamaha. Hopefully, I can also show you that one later. But I don't think you will pick one up like that for 5K. Let's see what we can find. This is the Summon, basically the most expensive lineup within Volvo. So the first generation S80 Summon. Let's see what you can get for that. Almost 5K, graphite. Yeah, this is basic, man. This is late 90s. It's late 90s, but it still has a certain class about it. And, you know, it's a nice place to be. It's old, but it has good chairs, that's a reliable engine. Yes, it's thirsty, but it don't need to be. 1 liter on 14 kilometers. It's okay. This one 240K. It's nothing for these cars. And the ladder, it's old and cracked, but that's logical. These cars are old. If you want to drive to the south of France or you to Italy in great comfort, in a car that is pretty reliable, I wouldn't look further than this, actually. I might be a little bit biased because I'm also a Volvo driver, and I would never imagine me saying that, but these cars just give you a certain type of confidence, and they just eat up the miles. They just eat up the miles, and you can park them anywhere. You can park them in a bad neighborhood. You know, nobody will blink an eye. It's just a goddamn Volvo, right? But only the owners know why it's a great car. So I really appreciate that. This is the 2.9. Let's see if this is the V6. I have no idea. Just a second. This is 2000, 3 liter. I think this is the V6. Specifications. 2000. Did I skip it? Yeah, this is the 6-cylinder with 200 horsepower. Yeah. 200 horsepower. So this is, you go from 5-cylinder to 6 cylinders. All lettered out. Oh, no, I believe it. Then, if the guys who think the S80 is too big, the S60. Let's find a nice S60 then. 140 horsepower, driver's edition, 140 horsepower, 2.5 liter, with a turbo, 2005. Looking good just by the title alone. Used car, but I want to know the power output. Okay, just a basic S60. Great chairs, nice luxury feeling interior, a boot. enough to get you anywhere, right? Ooh, I see this gear knob. Okay, let's see. So what we're looking at, 2005, almost 275,000 driven, but I want to know Technic. This one has almost 210 horsepower. Nice. 5-cylinder. I wouldn't say it's a beast, but you can cruise down the Autobahn 160, 170 kilometers, no problem. But the turbo makes this 5-cylinder thirsty. But again, if it's a car for only a short while, and it will feel right at home next to the BMWs and the Mercedes on the Autobahn. Maybe it won't be the fastest, especially when it comes to acceleration, but you'll be listening to a very raspy, nice 5-cylinder sound while you're sinking in your seats, and you're going to have a great time. Okay, let's hurry up a little bit. I think this episode is going to be quite long, but I'm just curious, how people look at it and what they think. So what else we got? Okay, now we go to reliability first. So I'm not a particular big fan of Japanese cars, but I do like reliability, and I do like this IS series. This is also 2000. Wow, we can pick one up for 2K. Let's go a little bit more on the high end. Okay, I'm sure you can spend double and you have a way nicer car. So this is 4K 2002. Oh, being sold. Okay, let's see. This is 2004. So this is the facelift. Again, 3.5K, 200, almost 240,000 kilometers driven. It's a 6-cylinder, 155 horsepower, gasoline, petrol. This is reliable stuff. This is reliable. This is Japanese stuff. This will get you still to the south of France. No problem. It's just not that big, and you need to like the styling, but there's nothing wrong with it. I think this is still a great car. Also been looking into it. Eventually still fall for the Volvo. But this has 6 cylinders and it's reliable. Look, it's just like a watch here. Lexus is very reliable. Lexus is the more luxury brand of Toyota, and Toyota is one of the most reliable cars in the world, actually. So this is also still an option. And this is also the type of car, if you're a little bit younger and you still want to mod it later, or just, just keep it. It's a nice car. Really, this Lexus, I always liked it from the moment it came out until now. I still think it's a worthy car. If I just needed a car right now and I had a tight budget, I would check this out. And I would put 1 or 2K aside just to make sure that I do all the necessary stuff to make sure it stays reliable, and you're golden. It's a 6-cylinder. Okay, almost 240K in kilometers, but it's fine. This headlight looks weird. Don't know what that is, but might be the light of that photo. Yeah, doesn't look bad. Again, I don't really like Japanese cars, but this looks nice. Let's go to the last car I want to review with you guys today, and then I leave you alone again. The Toyota Avensis. I'm not sure if this one came out in the United States. No idea. But you can pick one up for under 5K as well. That's 2-liter with the variable valve timing. These are bulletproof. They're super boring, but super bulletproof. If you are the type of person that only cares to go from A to B without any emotion, fill it up with gas, pedal to the metal, and that's it. Like the car is your little bitch. Then look no further. And then this one will serve you every day. Here, it's all in leather. It's all a bit 90s, but it's okay. It's not a pretentious car. It's not a pretentious car. It has probably a CVT gearbox, climate control, very basic navigation from the early 2000s. But again, you can fix that with a phone, you know, you can have it fixed. The most important thing to me is that the electronics are great and that the engine is reliable and that you don't need to stop somewhere at 3 o'clock at night at the side of the road somewhere in France where you don't know nobody, when there's no GPS signal, when there's no, you know, I'm just saying. Cruise control, it has everything you want, just in the most boring package you can ever imagine. But looking at it like this, it can grow on you. When you and this Avances had been to some trips and it's only done 200,000 kilometers, it's not too bad. 2003, okay, it's getting old, but I don't know if this car is suffering from rust. Japanese cars are not very thick on steel because it's a different climate over there as well. So I heard of Japanese cars rusting, but other than that, I think rust is its biggest problem. And if the car sleeps inside, you're golden. And the engines are golden. It's not like they're all without trouble, especially the diesels, the D4D Cat or something. The diesels, they're also not without troubles, but the gasoline engines, they're probably they are an evaluation of the engines that you can find in Toyotas in the 90s. And the Toyotas from the 90s and from the 1980s, they still drive around. I mean, when you look at Africa, for instance, most of the cars there are Toyotas. And you think they get regular service over there? I can't discriminate, but I don't think so. But and they still run. So, if you don't care, you know, this is nice, and I'm sure this is a comfortable car. Not even 5K. You can pick them up. So this is basically my show. I'm very curious if I got some comments, if people look at this, what they think. I do my best to, really translate. I really translate on the spot. I'm from Holland. But I like this, just we all do this, especially petrol heads. We go online, we check what's out there. And I was just thinking, my channel only almost has 10,000 subscribers. Let me just stream something, let me just put something out there. And I'm just curious if you guys like it, 10,000 people is a small army, just let me know what you want, which direction to go. And also give me input for these kind of shows. I will still continue the buying reviews because that's something I really like. Do something like of a research, put it out there and edit the video. But this is just on the spot, on the fly. And yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So curious if you also like it. I will probably continue for a while and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, that's enough for today. I'm thinking, all these kind of videos will have a title like a Uber luxury car for 5K, a vacation car for 5K, a transport van, or like a Volkswagen California van, like these kind of vans you take to the beach, or you go hiking and camping in. What is the best, those kind of things, because they really relate to people's lives. And yeah, I also try to include American cars in this if people want. Not that I know a whole lot about them. I think people look at this channel because they want to check European cars, but I will include them in it. Speaking of that, I will include one more car here. A Ford, which is American, but we also have one for the European market. Let me see, what's the name again? This one. 4. Okay, this is not what I'm looking for. Taurus, this one. Only one. Speaking of Ford. So this is also a 3-liter V6. You can also take it on a holiday. Just, especially when you come from the Netherlands or you live from Europe, you live in Europe, just keep some money aside for the gas bill. But you see, this one is rusting already in the picture. You don't see those no more. Also, they weren't sold that much here. This is basically a collaboration between America and Europe. I'm sure you also have these in the States and in Canada, but you also they were also sold here. They didn't do very well, but you have a 3-liter V6, which is basically bulletproof, but it drinks like a thirsty German in a bar. 1 liter every 7 kilometers or so. So you do the math. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys checking this show out. I had a lot of fun making this, and yeah, hopefully we see each other in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.